Well, hello, my friends. Won't you join me for lunch? Today we will be feasting on a miracle. 2 fish, 5 loaves, and a whole lot of hungry folks. There are at least 6 variations of the story in the Bible, each offering its own special seasonings. The book of Matthew emphasizes the selfless nature of Jesus. After teaching for hours and days on foot, Jesus learned that John the Baptist had been executed. Can you imagine how he must have felt? They were cousins, and John fulfilled the sacred responsibility of baptizing his Lord. In order to grieve by himself, Jesus retreated to a boat to cross the Sea of Galilee. However, he was quickly spotted and relentlessly pursued by his followers. These people were persistent and never gave Jesus a moment alone. Yet Jesus turned back without hesitation or annoyance. His eyes and heart were filled with compassion, for they looked like sheep without a shepherd, starving for his guidance, wanting to learn more about him and his Father. They loved Jesus so much that they would rather go hungry for a day than take pause from his word. Jesus referred to himself as the bread of life, feeding a hunger beyond the physical. However, he taught his disciples well. They knew, being sensible, compassionate, and responsible, that thousands of exhausted, hungry people in the middle of nowhere would be disastrous. So they suggested that Jesus send them away to feed themselves. And I can imagine it went something like this. Jesus, have them go to the nearest deli. There's a really good one a mile toward Galilee on the west side. I hear the macro seaweed salad is to die for. In John chapter 6, verses 1 through 12, Jesus begins by asking, Philip, what should we do? He already had a plan, as we both know. In all other accounts in the Bible, Jesus straight out tells his disciples to feed the people themselves. Now, the disciples and Jesus knew well enough that it would take 8 months of wages to feed 5,000 folks. But he persisted. Peter, Thomas, Andrew, Simon, what do you have in your bag? 2 fish and 5 loaves? No, that's plenty. Please, bring it to me. Then they shared. As Jesus accepted the Galilean equivalent of a bento box from his disciples, he instructed everyone to sit down and then offers a prayer of thanks. This is a significant example of leading with gratitude. As Jesus broke the bread and fish into pieces, thousands were fed in abundance. Who doesn't love good leftovers? When we give thanks for what we have and allow God to work with how much or how little we hold in our hands, miracles happen. Let's go over this again. Recognize the need, show compassion, offer our resources, and give thanks. Bring a gift to our divine host and accept his invitation to multiply it for the benefit of others. And believe you me, you will have plenty to take home with you. I like how the story is told in the book of John, where it was a boy who shared his fish and bread. It started with a child who shared his lunch. And that brings me back to what Jesus said, unless you become like children, whoever humbles himself as this child, he is the greatest. And whoever receives one such child in my name receives me. With an attitude of humility and faithfulness, God can do so much more. You don't need maturity and wisdom. You don't need wealth and power. You don't need the beauty of a movie star, the muscles of an athlete, or the brains of a neurosurgeon. You just need an unassuming innocence and willingness like a child. See a need, share, and give thanks. As did Jesus, should we not turn our boats around and respond to the call of his people? Clothe the poor, visit the sick and lonely, and encourage others. Allow our love to get passed from one person to the next. Some of the needs and problems of this world are just too great for any one individual to solve. This is why we hand it over to Jesus. Through him, we collectively are sure to feed more than 5,000. Sharing is like microwave popcorn. Sure, there are always going to be some kernels that forever remain locked inside their hard shells. But most will pop and release their goodness, filling up the bag, and all it takes is a bit of heat. Power up and pass on the love. Love. In itself, love is not hard to give, but love is too often mishandled, exploited, manipulated, or forgotten. We live in a fallen world of free will, but that is not how God intended it to be. We live in a fallen world of free will. The lifelong friend who betrayed your trust, the relative that took advantage of you financially, never intending to pay back. Growing up in a string of foster homes, hoping for just one adult to love and protect you, but instead your childhood and innocence stolen. Maybe you had a mother or father who always made you feel like you would never be good enough, or had a child who became an adult and forgot the sacrifices you made and pushed you out of his children's lives. Or the man who once promised to love and protect you for a lifetime, but left after the first sign of problems. You faithfully stood by him, but he forgot the value of your commitment. Now, if I've touched on a nerve, I am not doing it to hurt you. Quite the opposite. Maybe right now you feel so vulnerable that you can only let go of a little bit without feeling like you're going to lose all of yourself. That's okay. God will work with where you're at and what you have, even if it's just a fish nugget and a single cracker. Ask him to find you a safe and deserving place to give that love that resides in you. It is important to set healthy boundaries for ourselves. Our emotions, time, and resources do need to be protected. This is why our connection to the one who created us is so important, so that when we hear that inner voice to give, we will know if it is truly coming from our God. When we pool together our life experiences, painful and otherwise, we raise empathy for one another. I'm here to tell you that there is commonality and growth through sharing our pain. Pain in life is never fair, but still releases an opportunity to bravely love and trust the right people, allowing them to give that love back to you. When divine and human love coincide, the miracle of the fish and bread once again come back to life. Watch him multiply your gifts and multiply your love so that you will have more in return. and give others a reason to do the same. It only takes a spark to get a fire going. It starts with you, my friend. It only takes a spark to get a fire going, and soon all those around will warm up in its glowing. That's how it is with God's love once you've experienced it. He spreads his love to everyone. You want to pass it on. God bless you.